I just want to start this video off by showing you the true power of the build I'm about to show you. This was from Expert Oryx, and I was in with 2 Geomag Stabiliser Warlocks, and look at the damage. Look at how much more I'm doing, and this is just with a combination of the Barrowed Dyad with a new perk, plus Limit Break with Curious of the Fallen Star. Just quickly, you'd be doing me a massive favour if you like, comment and subscribe to the channel. It just helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, and I want to help as many people as I can. Cheers! There's 3 parts to the build that I just want to go over to make sure we've got all the boxes ticked for dealing as much damage as we can. The first is going over the Barrowed Dyad setup. Second is going over the Limit Break setup. Third is going over the Bolt Charge setup for the build. So to start off with Barrowed Dyad, this get a new perk for this act in Episode Heresy, and what it does is the longer that you stay on the target, you build up your meter, and when we reload, we'll fire Seekers and they all do massive damage to the boss. To get this unlocked, all you need to do is complete the story for Act 2, and then if you go to Eris's flat beside the shaping slab, there'll be like a little light bulb, a little crystal ball thing, and that will allow you to change your path that you're on. So we'll take it from Resolve to Ambition, and Ambition is what changes the perk on Barrowed Dyad to the one that we're wanting. Now, to make sure that Barrowed Dyad is doing as much damage as possible, we're going to equip a few mods into the build. So, triple Strand Weapon Surge, double Time Dilation, a Strand Loader and a Strand Siphon. This will make sure that our reloads are quicker, we're doing 22% more damage, the buff of damage will last longer, we'll create orbs on Barrowed Dyad kills, and we bump our reload up a little bit. For artifact perks, you'll want Unravelling Rounds and also Horde Shuttle. Now, the good thing about these is they're only going to get better depending on how levelled up your Path of Ambition is. Unravelling Orbs can be boosted, so Strand Weapons deal increased damage to Strand debuff targets, so it's an extra 5% of a damage boost. Then Horde Shuttle can also be boosted. Threadlings sever targets that they damage. Sever is a 40% debuff to target's damage that lasts 10 seconds, and then will automatically proc in the Unravelling Rounds boost to get that 5% damage as well. So this will only get better the more that you play and level up your Path of Ambition. And finally, you want to make sure that you're unlocking the catalysts and the intrinsic for Barrowed Dyad as the weeks go on. The intrinsics will help it out with its range and stability, and the catalysts, just now we've only got high impact reserves, but we've got Hatchling, One for All and Target Lock coming. Now, I actually believe that One for All will be the better pick for this, because you'll notice in the background gameplay that even as I'm damaging the boss, I'm still hitting targets that jump in front of my barricade. So just passively One for All will proc, and that's another 35% damage boost on top of the 22% damage boost we're getting from triple surges and the 5% damage boost we're getting from Unravelling Rounds. Next up, we want to talk about our super setup. So we'll be using Thunder Crash with Curious of the Fallen Star. Now, Curious of the Fallen Star is a 100% damage boost to your Thunder Crash, and on top of that we're going to add Limit Break, which is a 30% damage boost when you are low health or you have a buff that correlates to your super element, so Amplified Bolt Charge, which we're going to have all the time on this build. To supplement this, to make sure we're getting our supers as quickly as possible, we're going to take Orgon Rune from the Coat of Blades enhancement, and this states, restores super energy the first time an augment is completed before the timer runs out, available once per round. So for every round that you do, if you complete a side objective that appears on the left hand side, so Miasma or Bound or Sharpen, that kind of stuff, you'll automatically get your super back. So what I've been doing is as soon as it starts, I pop my super, then I complete the side objective, then I'll automatically get a second super and use that in the second boss. To pair with this, we want to choose Adamantine Rune, which states increases damage dealt and reduces damage received based on your rune empowerment. So as you complete rounds, your rune empowerment will go up. Now for me, I've not actually found that the rune empowerments that you pick from the statues are too amazing. I would rather have a damage boost when I have that tier 3 empowerment. And finally, on our artifact, we want to pick Elemental Siphon, which states rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super, create an elemental pickup that matches your equipped super. We're more interested in the boost, which states elemental pickups grant matching super energy when they are collected. Now, we'll be creating a lot of ionic traces through the bolt charge setup that I'll get into, but this ensures that our super is getting constantly topped up by Barrowed Dyad damage and ionic traces, so we'll have our super available all the time with the Orgon Rune setup and the Elemental Siphon setup. The final part of the build is our bolt charge setup. So for our aspects, we want to pick Touch of Thunder, and to pair with this, we want a Pulse Grenade. This will allow our Pulse Grenade to create ionic traces. We want to pair this with Storm's Keep. Sitting behind your barricade will grant you Bolt Charge. Now, for your fragments, you want Spark of Discharge. Collecting an ionic trace grants you a stack of Bolt Charge, and also Spark of Frequency, while amplified Bolt Charge stacks are increased from all sources. I also like to rock Spark of Shock, so that our Pulse Grenade will also jolt targets, and Spark of Resistance, while surrounded, we gain 15% damage resist. On our artifact, we want to pick Flashover. When you gain maximum Bolt Charge, you become amplified, and lightning bolts deal more damage, and also Defibrillating Blast. Stirring a Champ grants maximum stacks of Bolt Charge, triggers an Arc Bolt that heals you, and jolts combatants that it damages, so our Bolt Charges will jolt and also heal us. For your weapons, I like running a Aberrant Action with Incandescent and Heal Clip. Just makes it a little bit easier to keep your health topped up, as we're going for pure damage in this build. So using Aberrant Action, or you can use Lotus Eater if you get Repulsor Brace with destabilising rounds, but using something that can heal you in your secondary will give you a bit of survivability with the build that it's kind of lacking because we're going for pure damage. For your heavy, you can run whatever you want. Barrowed Dyad is going to be our main damage dealer here, so if you want to run a linear fusion rifle, I run Scintillation to double dip into the Strand Surges. It's good for stunning unstops, which will appear in expert mode, or you can also run Pro Memoria, the Strand LMG from the Pale Heart. It's also very good for just generic ad clear, because we'll be using our primary as a damage dealer. Using an LMG gives us an element of ad clear. For stats, you want 100 resilience so you can get your barricade up as quickly as possible, and also as high discipline as you can, so that you can throw as many pulse grenades to generate ionic traces to get your super back. Finally, I just want to show you a damage test I did with Barrowed Dyad, and I compared it to what I think is direct competition, which would be Thunderlord, as they're both kind of the same, they're just kind of spray and play. So I took it into Warlord's Rune and done a damage test against the first boss. This is with no surges, this is just with Peacekeepers. So this build also works with Peacekeepers if you wanted to. You just forego super damage for more Barrowed Dyad damage, but I think overall total damage would be better with the super. But you can see here, in one damage phase with Barrowed Dyad, we managed to get 1.3 million. Now, if we compare that to Thunderlord, we got 1.7 million. So the difference between a primary weapon that you've got ammo for all the time and then a heavy weapon that can be an absolute pain in the backside to get ammo for sometimes, especially if you're doing like a solo dungeon or something like that, or even in the Nether. For me, just for easy use, for a little bit less damage, you've got more consistent damage because you're always going to have ammo with Barrowed Dyad. You might not always have ammo for your heavy, you might run out during a damage phase, etc. And then you can use whatever you want in the heavy slot. So if you want to use a linear fusion rifle and put on particle reconstruction, you've got that in your back pocket ready to go. Using Barrowed Dyad greatly increases your total damage overall. It's not so good for like small damage phases for DPS, but your total damage overall with running Barrowed Dyad is through the roof. We've never seen anything like this before in Destiny. It's kind of going back to the old Outbreak Perfected days, but this is like 10 times better. But that's it. Let me know what you think down below. I'll also include a dim link for these so you can just equip the build and get going. Thanks very much for your time as always. I really do appreciate you checking out the video. If you could, or if you feel like it, leave a comment, subscription, all that jazz as mentioned before, but you watching the video is all I could really ask for. I'll see you soon for more Destiny 2 content. All the best. Cheers.